Yeah, sometimes it's hard to get that energy back. I mean, just do. I would say, Ezra, just do what you feel like doing. You know, if you don't have the energy to stream, don't force yourself to stream. Is this going to be one of my longer streams? Probably not. I don't know. Yeah, one second. There we go. I like that. Except the white balancing is totally fucked. Yeah. One second. Sorry, just getting it. Aha. Aha! I did it. Cool. I did it correctly. Okay. I know how that goes. It's never good to see you. Curious starting point. Hello. You're at work now? That works. Uh, you're never from Twitch? Zod Lord? Are we in a bit right now, or did you mistype, or did you accidentally insult me? Hi Zod, welcome, welcome. You're never from Twitch? Oh, Nevermore. There we go. Hey, Never. Oh, I see. That's really funny. I misread your first comment, and I'm like, "Hey, it's never good to see you." And I'm like, "That's a very strange first comment for somebody to make." But it's because, hey, it's never, aka your name. I was very confused. Never. I was incredibly confused. I must admit, I was incredibly confused by that. There. The reason for that is this stream has attracted. I don't see him anymore, and he hasn't appeared for at least a year, so he's probably gone. I say, knocking on wood. But this stream I once attracted a really vicious troll, so I'm always very suspicious when I get weird comments like that. Hey, Ashes. Good seeing you. How's it going? I'm doing well. Yeah. Have you figured out what style is? It's much like the Zen, or the Tao. It is undescribable, but yet everybody knows it. Sorry. Uh, that's good. No, but so how? Sorry, I was distracted by something. Royal Road. Yeah, I mean that is something. It's a place it's a place I've been eyeing for a long time as a possible home. Um, Ashes, do you know what? Sorry. Never. Have you ever heard of Royal Road? The reason I say that is because I know somebody. They popped up here once or twice, and I talked to them about it, and they got a big publishing deal from posting on Royal Road. So I know it's a viable option, you know. But it's also something I don't know. There's a lot of things they want you to do there that feel hard. Because I know from a lot of anecdotal evidence that they want you to post pretty much every day. Yeah. I mean, if I were to do that, what I would do, Ashes, is I would write the book beforehand. Yeah, I didn't know that part. I mean, what I do is I'd write the book before I'd post anything. I'd write a whole book before posting and get it all edited, so I wouldn't have to worry about like uh, like burnout that way. I don't know. I've considered setting up shop there, but I don't know. It's also I'm not really the type of writer. I don't know. Well, let's see what they got. Let's see what's going on in Royal Road right now. By the way, this would have made so much more sense yesterday when I was talking about the King's Road, but this would have made so much more sense when I was talking about the King's Road yesterday, but no. Yeah. I mean, that's a perfectly justifiable response to um, man, so many lit RPGs. I also like. Okay, that I like that idea. So when I worked for Pocket, not to once again brag about the. Oh shoot! Ah! I just looked over. I saw something. One second. I know something's coming. Give me a second. Give it a second. Everybody step back because I know something is coming. What? A raid? Sorry about that. What? A raid? Yeah, oh, this guy again. So I'm good. I'm good. How unexpected. Well, maybe strong style. Yeah, we're on YouTube as well, my bud. We're on YouTube as well. It's because I looked over. I looked over at Terrible's stream right as the raid started. Yeah, pretty much. That's how that works. So I can get both a YouTube and a Twitch audience. Listen, yes, it's and Chino, hey, Chino Jacko, hey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, well, okay, the face is an incredibly lengthy reference to a thing I'm doing, but it would take too long to explain. So how was the stream, everybody? How did we do? Wacky tobacco, it in fact has been far too long. Good to see you, my bud. Okay, so okay, so post-war Japan. Uh, I mean, I could explain it. It literally does start. So the story is post-war Japan. Uh, gives rise to professional wrestling in Japan, largely found and professional wrestling in Japan is largely the house that Rikidozan built. Now, Rikidozan was a secretly Korean wrestler, secretly a North Korean wrestler, and he trains two men, Giant Baba, who was a former baseball player, and Antonio Inoki. Now, after Dozan dies, Baba and Inoki split and formed two separate wrestling organizations. One, Giant Baba forms All Japan Wrestling, which is famous for the King's Road style. The King's Road style of wrestling. Now, King's Road is largely about long-term storytelling and keeping comprehensive ideas about who is fighting and what. Whereas Antonio Inoki, the man in my thumbnail, goes on to form strong style wrestling. Strong style wrestling is predicated on the idea that professional wrestling should look about as realistic as possible, and adapts real life judo and wrestling, amateur wrestling moves into it. And the sense is to build a strong sense of authenticity in your wrestling style. So that is what's known as strong style wrestling, which was really championed by Inoki, to the point where occasionally Inoki would claim that it was a real legitimate martial art. Anyways, so that's what strong style is. And then the anime Bake threw in a reference to him. Had him cameo, and I thought it looked funny. So I thought it was kind of funny. So I made him the thumbnail of my stream tonight, because I'm kind of on a Japanese wrestling kick at the moment. Yeah, I mean, it's the more popular style nowadays. Partly because King's Road got very, very intense as time goes on. Anyways, so that's so how is everybody? How is everybody's writing stuff doing? So that's So that's what strong style is. So how is everybody's writing doing? Mainly, tell me, what is this sick metaphor? Yeah. Pretty darn sick. Pretty darn sick. Yeah. He is a strong style. Yeah. Exactly, it does. I'm not totally sure about what the reference is, but I'm just going to go along with it. Oh yes, yes, not to do that. So terrible, Esri, Jackal. Oh, this is your character. No, obviously not. No, I always assume that every character any writer writes is based on their uh, real life character, and that's you know, everything anybody writes is pure uh, memoir. You know, there's nothing. There's no metaphor, no imagination. People can only write what they know literally, and that's the only thing they can write. We also don't have any ideas about what happens outside of our own mind, and we can never comprehend anybody else. Yeah. So yeah, it's yes, it's good. It's good to think this way, and people are correct. Yes, yeah. That's the right way to think about anything. You know, terrible. Where? What lily-livered bastard? A chicken has made his way into the den of... Ugh. This chapter needs so much reworking. Are you ever exhausted? Oh, right, yes, before the... so my past job writing audio dramas, we would adapt Royal Road stories. Royal Road was one of the places we would adapt. So I forgot the point I was trying to make there, but so I guess I'm aware of the style of Royal Road and such. Lovely, lovely. And remember, if you're not following me yet, I would really appreciate it. I'm getting very close to 1,000 followers, and I would like to get over that limit. And if I do, I'll do a 48-hour stream. Remember, just clicking on that little heart button, all it means is you like my stuff a lot. In fact, I was looking this up yesterday. I know there's some alternatives. I don't remember what they are, and I guess we'll be looking up the exact same article, exact same thread I found. Royal Road alternatives. Yes. Okay. Yes, in fact. Okay. Scribble Hub. I mean, honestly, at least from my opinion, Scribble Hub, I guess, is a good alternative. Tapas. Seemingly doesn't exist anymore. Okay, there we go. I mean, okay, Tapas, I guess, is popular. Well, I mean, okay, yeah. It certainly looks like it. Certainly looks like it. I mean, I mean, this is, Amazon used to have Vela. That used to be a decent source, but that doesn't exist anymore. That's kind of the problem we're running into, right, Ashes? I agree. That is a problem. I mean, at a certain point, maybe it's just better to like start building up your own. I mean, at a certain point, it might be just better to start building up your own following, independent of these sites. But I know that Royal Road is probably, honestly, is probably the best solution. Maybe Web Novel, but they're both going to have the exact same problems. They're both going to have the exact same problems. It's why I'm trying to build up a good email list for myself, which, you know, speaking of which, this is actually the link to my email list. Can you click it? I'm not sure if it's working. Okay. Also, but can you? I was having trouble with the email stuff. Can you just check to see if the email sign up is working? Can you both check to see if the email sign up is working? Thank. Yes, chat. I believe I actually already have your email. You're surprised how many people I've gotten with this trick so far. Yeah, if you want to read Jack and Alex, I'm redrafting that one. So, but if you want to read the first chapter, I posted it online. You'd be surprised how many people have fallen for that trick so far. Yeah, you're already subscribed, Terrible. You've been subscribed for a long time. I don't know. Have you ever heard of Royal Road, Terrible? The thing with like Royal Road is it can 100% be like a breakthrough if you can pull it off. Because it's a big audience. It's a audience full of voracious readers. It is an audience full of voracious readers who are always looking for new things, new stories. But the thing is also they like very specific things and they just want to read the same variations over and over again. So it's like, you know, if you play by their rules, you can potentially get a big thing going. But if you say don't particularly like the stuff they like and find it actually quite tedious to read, it's kind of hard. Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me send that to me again. Okay, let's see. Is it the Magical Girl one or the Possession Fantasy? This guy's being a little bit too cutesy. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's not... Yeah. Yeah. Oh, they always... That's hilarious. I mean, that is a thought process, though. I'm sure other people have thought about this, but like because I know Royal Road, you can do numerous stories. Yeah, no, that is annoying. Oh no, the reason he succeeded was the oldest reason in the book. He had connections. Oh, yeah, I succeeded through my own skill and ability, or I succeeded doing what everybody always does, is using my connections to a more popular guy to piggyback off of that. I mean, it was fine. If I knew somebody and I had that option, I would do that. It does hint at an interesting idea, though, that okay, because I know Royal Road, you can post multiple different series. because believe it or not, I had a Royal Road account back in the day, but I never really did much with it. But I do know that, and it makes you wonder. If it might be a good idea, maybe a collaborative account would be good, where several series are posted at once from different authors. Might not be the worst idea. I mean, I'm sure, like, the thing with Royal Road is, like, there's so many people posting on it. Like, I'm sure there's somebody who will eventually do. I'm sure there's, like, legit good literature on there, because it's like. I think I deleted. I was hoping to delete all the stuff I posted. Don't want that. God, I was so. I had such. Yeah. Okay, tell me. Tell me. What did it say? Shh. Stephanie! Good to see you. It's better than that? Yeah. No, what did it say? You gonna get a promotion? Oh, that's very cool. The Panini Press. Yeah. Yeah, but the thing, I mean, yeah, but the thing is, at Ashes, I'm ready. I already have that somewhat. Oh, that's very fun. Welcome. Hey, Stephanie, how are things going? That is so cool. Holy heck, that is very, very cool. I mean, yeah. Yeah, if you yes. Very, very cool. I don't know. Yeah, but the thing about that, Ashes, I already have that. I'm already transferring. I already have people. I have an audience of people who are interested in my socials and my things. Oh, believe me, I'm there too. We're debating the merits of Royal Road as a possible home for things. And Terrible, we've just discovered that Terrible is now a food comedian. What are you working on right now? But with the very nice, very cool. Yeah. It is. It is. It is. I agree immensely, Ashes. It is. And it's always scummy wherever in every kind of level. Yeah. So do you have any ideas for your first newsletter? Yeah, yeah, that is kind of ridiculous. Well, the thing, yeah, but that's the thing. It's like Stephen King. Um, but you don't really need to advertise for Stephen King because people are just going to buy the new Stephen King book. You know, that's going to be a news. That's going to be a bit of news to talk about. You know. Anyways, this is the thing. But it's like if the publishers, I don't know. I haven't experienced being published yet, but if publishers have insisted that people need to get over by themselves, then well, why don't I just keep getting over by myself? You know? Yeah. Well, that's always a good sign of needing to republish. Yeah. I mean, theoretically, okay, so theoretically, the reason publishers are good is because they take a lot of the administrative work on for you that you don't want to do. Like they're the ones who'll make the deals. They're the ones who have the connections to make all the deals that you as an individual author probably won't have. Like they know the printing presses, they know the bookstores, they know like the editors, the agents, the advertisers, they know how to do all of that stuff. And you as a writer should be able to just sit there and focus on your book while they take care of all the behind the scenes stuff that you wouldn't have to deal with. But the problem I'm noticing, and this isn't true across the board, but I'm noticing, is that we're seeing like a lot of books nowadays not get that. You know? Because frankly, trying to do all that stuff myself, personally, I find very exhausting. Exactly. There's some poorly written sentences in this thing. She pulled on the she pulled on the cage and broke it. Yeah. Well, that's not to get political here, but that's kind of late stage capitalism. Is that they don't really take the long view of anything anymore. That that you need um, okay, how did Sanderson piss? Sanderson, I have mixed feelings on him. Ah. Yeah. Yep. I mean, so this is always my problem with like some writing advice. Uh, a lot of writing advice I've heard. Um, this also, this also like segues also into film things. A lot of problems I have with the film people's advice for film, and that they give you a lot of advice that would only be useful if you're like a huge director, if that makes sense. Yeah. It like see the thing with Sanderson though, that is good advice that you should probably keep your you should probably try and keep the hardcover and movie rights. That's if you can keep those, you should. But it's like also it's like, but that's not really like for most people that isn't um, reality. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Okay, it's needed. Yeah, it's fair. Yeah. Check out Charlotte and cautiously approach it. Yeah. I know that's an adverb, but you need it sometimes. Okay. Well, this is cleaned up as much as you can do on this program, I think. Yeah. 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 His prose are pretty mid. Yeah. I mean, okay, so the thing about that is, it there are a lot of writers out there who theoretically their prose are quite mediocre, but they make up in other ways. So it's not necessarily the end of the world if your prose are kind of eh. aren't the greatest thing in the world. Because, you can get away if you can make up for it in other ways. I say this because I often that's a fear I have, is that I think my prose are somewhat mediocre at times. Yeah. Well, I think the thing is, readers have priorities, and every reader is different. But I think for a majority of people, what they care about is story, and story and idea, and you can get by a lot on interesting story and idea. And if your prose, and as long as your prose aren't so bad that it's distracting, then you should be okay. And what people tell me, I can be honest, I kind of honestly find Sanderson kind of boring as a writer. It might just be me. I'm not saying I should, at some point in time, I plan to give him another chance because he's so popular, and I want to try and understand that. But the first time I read him, I wasn't that enthused with Brandon Sanderson, honestly. But maybe I'd like him more now. But what was I saying? But I think as long as your prose aren't so awful that everybody has to take a moment to notice them, it'll be fine. It's kind of like cinematography, I think, in movies. People will notice amazing cinematography and they'll talk about it endlessly, and they'll talk about bad cinematography. But most cinematography in movies is purely functional, and nobody really complains about that. Cinematography is, you know what I mean? If cinematography is really good, people will notice it, and if cinematography is really bad, people will notice it. But most cinematography is very functional, and yeah, as long as it's not distracting. So if you're not confident in yourself as a prose writer, just try and go for undistracting, simple prose, and I would say, at least that's what I try. And don't aim for the stars, because if you're not particularly a great prose writer, then people aren't going to read your story. Probably aren't reading your stories for your amazing prose, which I suspect Sanderson. I don't think people are going out of their way to read Sanderson's prose. Like the thing, I know some people dislike Tolkien's writing style now, but Tolkien was legitimate. Is just frankly legitimate on a better writer than, yeah. Then and I mean that on Tolkien has better prose than Sanderson does, and he clearly has that more English sense of you learn a lot of poetry. He has a very good sense of poetic writing. A writer I'm reading right now, Lord Dunsey, also has a very beautiful prose. And I guess because fantasy writing for a while was defined by people actually being quite good prose writers, that throws people off nowadays when it's more casual. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, I, I've read the first chapter you were saying. I thought you had some pretty strong dialogue choices. Haven't got your notes back on mine yet. Ashes. Yeah. Yeah. Marketing. Thank you. Oh, I didn't know you streamed. I'll give you a follow. If I'm not following you already, I'm going to give you one. Boop. Imagine. Uh, I grew up in the Middle East. I don't know if I've ever told you that. I grew up in Saudi Arabia, so uh, I was born there actually. So, um, I always this is this is the experience I always had with like my Muslim friends when Ramadan was happening. Is it would always be this like miserable experience. They would always suddenly be so miserable and not being able to focus on anything. I remember we'd have several kids pass out because of that. Yes, total pogs. I'm a total pogger. Yeah, that is something I'm always afraid of. Is that my characters have a tendency to sound a little bit like each other. I don't think it. I think I'm decent enough to give everybody like a distinct way of talking, but the thing I'm really trying hard to avoid is like every character being kind of like a smartass, and just everybody being really sarcastic all the time. I don't know. I'm yeah. Ashes, the fact that I was a fan of Marvel comics before the MCU it will always be something I'm very frustrated by because it's like, I mean, I'm aiming for. Oh, we're in an ad break right now. Waiting for the ad break to end. Gonna wait for the ad break to end. People who subscribe hear my little song, but it stopped. Back. I don't know if this is awkward to talk about, but when I don't know, whatever. He proved himself to be like a terrible jackass, so I'm not. But I was a big fan of when I was younger of Joss Whedon, and I used to try and emulate his style, Joss Whedon, but I'm so sick of. Well, one, I've become really sick of people in real life trying to talk like Joss Whedon characters. where it's everything is like a smug, like it's all smug, like trying like no, I'm really funny and I'm gonna. It's like I hate that. I hate that. So I'm trying to avoid that. I hate that. Like I hate it in real life when people try and talk like Joss Whedon characters, and so it's gotten to a point where I don't like doing it in stuff. I don't know. The problem, I've always just thought of myself as more of a humor guy. Like the problem is fundamentally, yeah, 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 yeah. It's very frustrating that the thing I liked became kind of like part of the monoculture, and now everybody tries to emulate it because I was like, oh man, it didn't used to be like this. It didn't used to be like this. It used to be. It didn't used to be. Marvel Comics didn't used to be the default for bland, bland blockbuster. I know this is hard to understand, but they were like really cool and kind of edgy at one point. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And they had a sense, and Marvel Comics. This is hard to really emphasize. Had a real sense of grit to them, not in like dark and gritty, but like it felt like I don't know. Anyways, I could go on, but yeah. Guardians of the well, one I love James Gunn. It's partly because James Gunn is a very good writer and understands how to. Well, the thing is, like James Gunn understands how to write that sort of thing. There's always writers who can. But yeah, but James Gunn takes his character seriously. Is the thing. Like yeah, he's constantly trying to find jokes, but all guns like arc Gunn always has like gives his characters like good story arcs that make sense emotionally, and he usually mines comedy from character. Yeah, he usually mines comedy from like character moments, not so much just not he like it's he's almost always trying to mine comedy from character moments, which is good comedy usually. Whereas like bad comedy tends to be like what if somebody expresses something and I say a quippy thing? Quip, quip, quip. You kind of see um I like the MCU, by the way. I don't hate it, but I also like if I never saw another MCU project, I'm like I probably wouldn't care. Is the thing. If I Yeah, that's well. The problem is Hollywood never takes influences correctly. I don't hate the MCU. Yeah, I mean, this is also like if I could, as somebody who's older. Yeah, as somebody who's older. Yeah, I mean, also part of the thing. Anyways, not to go on about how much I like James Gunn's stuff, good, but I do. Part of the thing is like also Gunn has a good sense. It has a better ear for dialogue than I think a lot of writers do, which is a harder thing. I think people don't appreciate that. It's not solely about like clever wit. It's about kind of having a good ear for all of that stuff. Like I think to be truly good at dialogue, you have to also kind of be interested in the way people talk and how people talk. Like you have to actually be kind of quite interested in how like people actually like will talk to each other. And I get a sense that Gunn is. Yeah. Yeah, you have to, and how that affects the way like so do you know who the Coen brothers are, Ashes? I suspect a lot of these guys might profess to be fans of the Coen brothers. Coen brothers are usually considered to have like some of the best dialogue in film. And what Coen the what Coens have particularly is that they have a really good sense of like um, regionality. They have a really good sense of regionality in their dialogue, and every character kind of has like a very distinct setting. Let's see. There's a lot of good examples, but like probably let me show. Let me let me show. I'm trying to find. It's hard when you go like these guys are really good dialogue writers, and then it's like, well, let me show you a perfect example, and it's like you might not like it. Okay, um, this is a good one. So if you haven't seen The Big Lebowski, just I'll give you a little premise here. Uh, Jeff, this is Jeffrey Lebowski, but he goes by the Dude, and he gets mistaken by some thugs for a different Jeffrey Lebowski, who's called the Big Lebowski, and Jeff is kind of a burnout hippie who a '60s burnout, and he doesn't really mind that this happened, but what happened is they peed on his rug, the two thugs, and he really wants the Big Lebowski to pay to have that to pay to have it cleaned or get him a new rug. Yeah, they can be. So this is kind of a good typical example of. So this is kind of a good typical example of Coen Brothers, how Coen Brothers do dialogue.
Okay, so you're a Lebowski, I'm a Lebowski. That's terrific. But I'm very busy, as I imagine you are. What can I do for you, sir?
Well, sir, it's this rug I have. It really tied the room together.
You told Brad on the phone, he told me. Where do I fit in?
Well, they were looking for you, these two guys.
I'll say it again. You told Brad on the phone, he told me. I know what happened, yes, yes.
Oh, so you know that they were trying to piss on your rug?
Did I urinate on your rug?
You mean, did you personally come and pee on my rug?
Hello? You speak English, sir? Parle usted inglés? I'll ask you again. Did I urinate on your rug?
No, like I said, woo peed on my rug.
I just want to understand this, sir. Every time a rug is micturated upon in this fair city, I have to compensate the person.
Come on, man. I'm not trying to scam any.
No, oh, sorry. I'm just showing a scene. Yes, I can talk. I can talk. Good seeing you, Jizzle.
Anybody here. I'm just.
You're just looking for a handout like every other. Are you employed, Mr. Lebowski?
Wait, let me explain something to you. I am not Mr. Lebowski. You're Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude. So that's what you call me, that or his dudeness or duder or, El Duderino if you're not into the whole brevity thing.
Are you employed, sir?
Employed?
You don't go out looking for a job dressed like that, do you? On a weekday?
Is this what day is this?
Well, I do work, sir. So if you don't mind.
No, I do mind. The dude minds. This will not stand, This aggression will not stand, man. I mean, your wife owes
My wife is not the issue here. I hope that someday my wife will learn to live on her allowance, which is ample. But if she does not, that is her problem, not mine. Just as the rug is your problem. Just as every bum's lot in life is his own responsibility, regardless of who he chooses to blame. I didn't blame anyone for the loss of my legs. Some Chinaman took them from me in Korea, but I went out and achieved anyway. I cannot solve your problem, sir. Only you can.
Oh, fuck it.
Oh, fuck it. Yes, that's your answer. That's your answer to everything. Tattoo it on your forehead. Your revolution is over, Mr. Lebowski. Condolences. The bum's lost. My advice to you is to do what your parents did. Get a job, sir. The bums will always lose. You hear me, Lebowski? The bums will always lose.
So okay. So sorry. I just wanted to show that clip. Hi, Jizz. Good to see you. So that's kind of a good example of how the Coen brothers will do dialogue. You notice that there's a lot of internal. You notice that there's a lot of little Yeah, you notice how there's a lot of little internal internal little mechanisms games going on in the thing, or the fact that the Big Lebowski will speak in very controlled, long form sentences to emphasize his eloquence, whereas Jeff cannot really put words together. One of the bits that you would note in the whole movie is that he often will say things he's heard. The thing with the dude, part of the thing with the dude is he often just repeats stuff he's heard other people say. So, he was watching TV and he heard Bush the first say, "This aggression will not stand." So he tends to say that in conversation because it's just something he's heard that he thought. So it's kind of these push and pulls, and Jeff the dude will constantly has a tendency to deflect what the Big Lebowski will say. The Big Lebowski will attempt to force his way. You notice the Big Lebowski will try and force the conversation into kind of the rules of engagement he wants. Yeah, exactly. It's a yes, exactly. Right? Yeah, it's a very good scene, and so the Coens are often really praised for the dialogue, and you can see why. They have a really good sense of how people try and push and pull and jockey for power in conversations. Oh my goodness, Scripty Streams, thank you so much for the follow. Yeah, and they also have a good sense because the dude fundamentally wins this argument just by getting up and leaving and letting the Big Lebowski stew. And there's a lot of little funny call forwards. We find out later that The Big Lebowski is essentially a paper tiger, and it's actually his ex-wife who made all the money who made all the money in the relationship. Oh, thank you. Thank you, script. Yeah, we were talking about we got into a conversation about like what is good dialogue and what isn't, and I was like, well, the Coen brothers have a good. It's hard to beat the Coen brothers when you want to think about good dialogue. Yeah, yeah, and they're particularly expert at these scenes. Like one of the tricks the Coens will also do is like they have a few bits of dialogue that will repeat throughout the movie. This aggression will not stand is one of them. Like that pops up in a few different locations. Like I noticed one of they often centralize their dialogue scenes around a few big lines and find ways to explore it. And also, welcome to the stream. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. This is another good one. This is an earlier scene where they're kind of making the plan.
Yeah, man, it really tied the room together.
So this was a value,
Yeah.
Tied the room together, dude?
My rug.
Were you listening to the dude's story, Donnie?
What?
Were you listening to the dude's story?
I was bowling.
So you have no frame of reference here, Donnie. You're like a child who wanders into the middle of a movie and wants to know.
Walter, what's the point, man?
There's no reason. Here's my point, dude. There's no fucking reason why these.
Yeah, Walter, what's your point?
Walter, what is the point? Look, we all know who is at fault here. What the fuck are you talking about, huh?
No, what the fuck are you? I'm not. We're talking about unchecked aggression here,
What the fuck
dude.
is he talking
My
about?
rug.
Forget it, Donnie. You're out of your element.
Walter, the Chinaman who peed on my rug, I can't go give him a bill. So what the fuck are you talking about?
What the fuck are you talking about? The Chinaman is not the issue here, dude. I'm talking about drawing a line in the sand, dude. Across this line, you do not. Also, dude, Chinaman is not the preferred nomenclature. Asian American, please.
Walter, this isn't a guy who built the railroads here. This is a
What
guy.
the fuck are you?
Walter, he peed on my
He
rug.
peed on the dude's rug.
Donnie, you're out of your element. The Chinaman is not the issue here.
So who?
Jeff Lebowski, the other Jeffrey Lebowski, the millionaire.
That's fucking interesting, man. That's fucking interesting.
Plus, he has the wealth, obviously, and the resources, so that there's no fucking reason why his wife should go out and no money all over town, and then they come and they pee on your fucking rug. Am I wrong?
No.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, but
Okay then. That rug really tied the room together, did it not?
fucking A.
This guy peed on it.
Donnie, please.
You know, this is the fucking guy. I could find this fucking Lebowski guy.
His name is Lebowski. That's your name, dude.
This is the guy who should compensate me for the fucking rug. His wife goes out and owes money all over town and they pee
They pee on your fucking rug? You pee on my
fucking rug.
That's right, dude. They peed on your fucking rug.
It's such a great scene. That's such a great scene. But you can also kind of see the way the characters react. It's like, but you can kind of. Oh, okay. So, well, I mean, we could just. This is slowly becoming into me just showing clips from The Big Lebowski. What happened was, okay, so the dude. The dude is Jeffrey. Okay. The dude, aka Jeffrey Lebowski, is two thugs break into his apartment looking for the Big Lebowski because they share the same name. Because the Big Lebowski's wife owes a lot of money all over town, and one of the thugs pees on the dude's rug. So all the dude really wants is for the Big Lebowski to buy him a new rug, and because it really tied the room together. And this kind of gets this kind of brings the dude into a whole weird collection of people who are and we find out that the Big Lebowski's wife maybe has disappeared, and there's possibly a criminal conspiracy going on. I don't want to blow the ending of the movie, of what's actually happening, if you want to see it. I mean, this is the opening right now.
Where's the money, Lebowski? You want that money, Lebowski? Bonnie says you're good for it. Where's the money, Lebowski? Where's the money, Lebowski? Where's the fucking money, shithead?
It's down there somewhere. Let me take another look.
Don't fuck with us. The wife owes money to Jackie Treehorn. That means you owe money to Jackie Treehorn.
Ever thus the deadbeats, Lebowski.
No, don't do this. Not on the rug, man.
See? See what happens, Lebowski? You see what happens?
Nobody calls me Lebowski. You got the wrong guy. I'm the dude, man.
Your name's Lebowski, Lebowski. Your wife is Bunny.
My wife, Bunny? Do you see a wedding ring on my finger? Does this place look like I'm fucking married? The toilet seat's up, man.
The fuck is this?
Obviously, you're not a golfer.
Woo? Yeah. Isn't this guy supposed to be a millionaire? Fuck. Yeah, what do you think?
He looks like a fucking loser.
Hey, at least I'm housebroken.
Thanks a lot, asshole.
So that's the opening. But yeah. The Coens are, I don't know if you can tell, the Coens are in fact quite good script writers and have a very strong sense of how to write a script. Yeah, they have a very realistic, very strong sense of dialogue. And I don't know if I totally showed it off, but one of their skills is also they have a really good sense of regionality in their dialogue. Like, they're very obsessed with, like, accents and stuff. Yeah. So, the Coens are usually... Tarantino is also cited as an example, and I like Tarantino, but I like the Coens more. The Coens are my favorite directors, so... So I guess, yeah, exactly. And it's fun to just watch Coen brothers characters bounce off of each other. And one of their, I think, innate traits as writers so, like, a thing I've noticed, because I've rewatched so many Coen Brothers movies over and over again, is that they have what I call kind of anchor lines. And what that means is, like, during their dialogue exchanges, they have, like, 3 or 4 anchor lines that they attach a lot of the dialogue to. And it's about finding ways to play with that as a concept. Like, you notice how, like, the dude will try and explain his name? Has a tendency to try and explain his name. That's a line that they and the context is always a little different each time. That's an idea that they return to a few times. It's like the dude doesn't really go, and people trying to, like, and what gets him what's been getting him in trouble is people trying to make him Jeff Lebowski instead of the dude. So, and that comes kind of through in his dialogue. If we want, screw it, let's watch one more scene from them. Yeah. Let's watch one more scene from them. This is a now this is a much more serious movie they did called No Country for Old Men. And realistically, I don't know if I would need to explain. This is one of those things where it's like it works so well just on its own that you probably don't. You know what? I'm not going to explain it. I'll explain after. But you'll see you'll see how they can pull it off. You can see how they pull it off. When they go for, and yes, I know Miramax. Boo. Fundamentally shitty people at Miramax, but so watch how they pull this part off.
How much?
69 cents.
And the gas.
Y'all getting any rain up your way?
What weight would that be?
I seen you was from Dallas.
What business is it of yours? Where I'm from? Friendo.
I didn't mean nothing by it.
Didn't mean nothing.
Just passing the time. If you don't want to accept that, I don't know what else I can do for you. Want to do something else?
I don't know. Will there?
Is something wrong?
With what?
With anything?
Is that what you're asking me? Is there something wrong with anything?
Will there be anything else?
You already asked me that.
Well, I need to see about closing.
See about closing.
Yes, sir.
What time do you close?
Now, we close now.
Now is not a time. What time do you close?
Generally around dark, at dark.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you?
Sir?
I said, you don't know what you're talking about. What time do you go to bed?
Sir?
You're a bit deaf, aren't you? I said, what time do you go to bed?
Somewhere around 9:30. I'd say around 9:30.
They could cut back then.
Why would you be closed?
Yeah, you said that.
Well, I got to close now.
You live in that house on back.
Yes, I do.
You lived here all your life?
This is my wife's father's place originally.
You married into it.
We lived in Temple, Texas for many years. Raised a family there in Temple. We come out here about 4 years ago.
You married into it.
That's the way you want to put it.
I don't have some way to put it. That's the way it is. What's the most you ever lost in a coin toss?
Sir?
The most you ever lost in a coin toss?
I don't know. I couldn't say.
Call it.
Call it.
Yes.
For what?
Just call
Well, we need to know what we're calling it for here.
it. You need to call it. I can't call it for you. It wouldn't be fair.
I didn't put nothing up.
Yes, you did. You've been putting it up your whole life. You just didn't know it. You know what date is on this coin?
No.
1958. It's been traveling 22 years to get here. And now it's here. And it's either heads or tails. And you have to say, call it.
Well, look, I need to know what I stand to win.
Everything. How's that? Just tend to win everything, call it. All right. Heads then. Well done. Don't put it in your pocket, sir. Don't put it in your pocket. It's your lucky quarter. Where do you want me to put it? Anywhere not in your pocket. Or it'll get mixed in with the others and become just a coin. Which it is.
I always feel like I'm holding my breath with that scene. So, as somebody who hasn't seen this movie, Ashes, do you have any? What are your thoughts about that? This is the most famous scene in that movie. This is one of the more famous scenes in the movie. But do you have any thoughts about it? Oh, 100% he would have died. 100% he would have died. So this guy right here is Anton, and we've seen several scenes of him before this, like just absolutely mowing down through people. Yeah, pretty much anybody who's had an encounter, like nobody who's encountered him has like survived. And this is the first. In reality, like this is the first time he seemingly has let a guy live. But you notice, like, again with like how the comedic moments go, they have a tendency to have a few anchor bits of dialogue. Like you notice the fact that he gets fixated on the. I'm trying to remember. You notice he gets fixed.
What time do you go to bed, sir?
That is an absolutely terrifying question, by the way. That is an absolutely terrifying question.
What time do you go to bed, sir? You're a bit friend. I said, what time do you?
Let's see, I'm trying to. You notice how, like, when he mentions.
I do. You lived here all your life? This is my wife's father's place, originally.
Yeah. Like, this is the one little hint we get at his morality, his thought process. Look. When he mentions that he married
This
into
is
it.
my wife's father's place, originally. You married him?
You notice like that's the you can just feel sort of the anger in his voice when that happens. So you married into it.
In Temple, Texas, for many years.
And he can't.
Family there. In Temple.
Yeah.
Oh, we come out here about 4 years ago. You married into it. That's the way you want to put it. I don't have somewhere to.
Yeah. And you get the sense that they both understand. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you get the sense that he's kind of disgusted by that. Yeah. He just wants him to say how it is, but he also knows that makes him angry. Without establishing like that he like without you knowing that he's a killer, you can tell through kind of just dialogue that you can tell that something is very off with him. He has an internal sense of like ideas, and he's crashing against somebody who's kind of like a normal person. And they're both kind of trying to convince you of their like philosophy, kind of in a way, without saying that they're going on. Because so it's kind of like an internal. They're essentially having a debate, And Anton is accusing the store owner of essentially like being kind of nothing, somebody he can easily like obliterate and nothing would happen because he's never made a decision in his life. And that's why the coin kind of makes sense to him, because, well, you've never actually done something. Yeah. And you notice how like where the real problem gets started is that he mentions something here.
How much? 69 cents. And the gas. Y'all getting any rain up your way? What way would that be? I seen you was from Dallas.
See, he mentions he's from Dallas. This is a problem for Anton because that means he can identify. He said, "I seen you up your way. I see you from Dallas." That's a real problem because this guy can place Anton in a location, place Anton in a definitive location, being as Anton has just murdered several people in Dallas, and he can ID him by face. So that means that this guy is now a potential liability. Yeah, exactly. And he's just a talkative old... I live in Texas, so I know guys like this, you know? You meet guys like this all the time. They're just talkative old guys. They're just kind of making the day. But he accidentally just said something he really shouldn't have said. Because now he's a potential witness who can place Anton in a location. Also, Snickers. Anyways. But also, they don't... Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, it's all dialogue, but not dialogue. I think that's kind of... Yeah, exactly. And this is one of the few times we get a good sense of how he works, because like the whole deal with Anton is in many ways Anton is essentially like the Terminator, is that he's kind of an unstoppable killing machine. And if he kind of decides that it's time for you to go, there's really nothing you can do. It's a really good movie, by the way. I don't know if I made that clear. It's really good. Yeah. Yeah. And he also has kind of like a fatalist... And you can tell he also has sort of a fatalistic view of the world in that... there's no reason... there's a very good chance he's kind of like... there's the Genghis Khan quote, that might not be from him, but... it's what great sins must you have done for God to have brought me towards you? No worries. It's always a good day for me when I get to talk about Coen Brothers. Yeah. I think what we find in good dialogue scenes, at least in my opinion, is it's two people with different, with kind of different outlooks on life, trying to debate, trying to prove the merits of their worldview. And it's people. Anyways, it's a little cold in here. I'm going to turn up the heat, and then we'll keep going. Also, yeah. Also, good dialogue tends to be. There's also another thing. I've also noticed this in a lot of actual conversation. Is conversation? There's usually you can break conversation down into a few things, and an opening conversation usually. There's a thing in conversation where it's we must figure out the rules of this conversation, but you don't say the rules. You don't say that you've been doing that. Anyways. Okay. And now, when you see my dialogue, it will definitely be less compared to that. So, Scripps, how are things going? Sorry, we just got into a long discussion. Yo, Fade! How's it going, Fade? You don't remember? You don't remember the song? That sounds annoying. Oh no! Oh no! Okay. It sounds it. It sounds it. Okay. Sure. Yeah, if I get copyright, I'll just cut it out. This one? No. That is fun. That is fun. That's very fun. Ashes. That is a good question. I think I'm okay at humor. I think I have an okay sense of character and place. But are they? Well, then they are dogs. Do I have autofocus off? No, I don't. I turn autofocus on when I turn autofocus on when I do art stream, off when I do art streams, but I always want to turn it back on when I'm doing normal ones. That's fun. This is the Marine Band. Oh, yeah, sorry. My best strengths as a writer. Ashes, that is a hard question. I think I have an okay sense of character, an okay sense of place. Decent enough. I have decent enough comedy chops, I think, for a writer. That I can write decent. And I think those are my stronger suits. You know? Yeah, I guess myself a bit. I don't know. We'll see what happens when people hear my, you know, I might be totally wrong and I might have written nothing but garbage. Well, I'll see what you think. Ashes here, Fade is gonna look at my, is gonna give me some notes on my story. So I'm both nervous and excited about that. They're good. Well, they have to be. They're Marines, Fade. Yes. I know it's very surprising. It's very surprising to think that the Marines and the Marine Band may actually be Marines. I assume the Marines is mostly made up of bands. Yeah. Sorry. Should. So, besides that fade, though, it's all going well. Trying to motivate myself to write. I don't know. Partly, I want to wait for notes that I've got from people, but I don't really have I don't know. Yeah, I assume mostly what we're doing. Dear God, math and science? Yeah, those were not my best subjects in school. I was really good at that class where you made tiny little. I was really good at. You know what class I was really good at? The one where you stare out the window for like 3 or 4 hours at a time. I was really good at that. That was probably my best class. Do you guys remember this class? No, I was good at English and history. Those were my best classes. And staring out the window. What are you guys reading in school? What are you guys reading in English right now? I'm always curious what they have kids read. I need to stop. Why don't you just play... Ah. You know what you do? You know what you do? You just find somebody else on like YouTube playing really good French horn of the song that you hate, and you just hide your phone in your French horn and play the music out of it. Nobody will know if you're not playing or not, Fade. Oh, it doesn't. It just sounds bad. I like the little screaming man. What? So you don't think my plan? You don't think my plan to cheat would work? Listen, all I gotta do. Okay, okay. How about this? Okay, fine. We'll put a full computer in the thing. We'll put a full on computer in the thing. It'll sound much better. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, like, how many people are playing horns? You could probably just get away with letting other people do most of the work. Horn is computer. That is not a terrible idea, Fade. Not a terrible idea at all. Yeah, just let the other two do all the work. Hey, that's how I got through in choir. Sometimes you can't do the part. Sometimes you can't do the part. You just kind of, somewhat sing it. Oh, Fade, why did you have to be a unique individual? You should have picked what instrument has like way too many people on it? I was in choir. And sometimes when I couldn't do the songs correctly, I would just kind of do this. It's very easy to get quite far in life, Faye. It's very easy to get quite far in life if you are both unambitious and willing to do the least amount of work possible. I guess also be a white guy, but people will tend to not notice you and just kind of let you keep doing stuff. It's those people who have ambition and try hard. They're the people who screw up. I feel like this is the absolute worst life lesson I could give anybody. Don't. Yeah. Is it just kind of like tedious? Don't do what I'm saying. I mean, oh man, sometimes you have to do that, but oh man. Why don't you argue? Why don't you? Can you? I know you like to rearrange stuff, Fade. Could you rearrange it to make it sound a little fun, a little bit more fun? Could you somehow like actually try and fix this up a little bit? Your coach might respect that if you come to them with like a rearrangement that sounds a lot better. You might. I mean, you said that you've hinted before that's what you would like to do. Maybe try. Well, I know it's bold. I know it's bold, but maybe you... Well, is there a way? Is there a way you can work within that system, with it, what's in already established, and make the French horn section a little bit stronger? That's but what I'm saying is fade. What I'm saying is fade. That maybe. Hey, textual. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. No, but what I'm saying is fade. Be bold. You know, they may reject it, but I'm pretty sure they would respect you for trying. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I'm a little... Yeah. Ah, suddenly all the energy snapped out of me. Sorry. Hey, textual, how are things going? Ashes, I was gonna give you a raid. If you're gonna stream tonight, I would have given you a raid. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it'll be nice when the weekend. Oh my god! Suddenly, I just lost all my energy. Um. Anyways, let's. How long? I mean, it's been. Yes, you should. It's always nice talking to you. I'm sorry, guys. I just don't have the energy to keep going. I'm very sorry. Talk to you later.